Okie Itomics Ganatani. Good morning. Good hazy morning. With the fires covering half of the continent or whatever on the west side here. It is 9:30 in the AM on Friday, August 18th, 2020. We're just moving into the lunar cycle Awakatsiki-sum when the deer and the antelope play. They're rut. And headed over to the University of Lethbridge. You know, every day I'm thinking this has to be my last rattlesnake call of the season. You know, yesterday I got phoned by the Paradise Canyon Golf Club. In the evening, went over there, picked up a nice big healthy male or female snake that they had already put in a bucket for me, brought it up to the pops and wood pile for release, and was thinking for sure this has to be the last one, right? I don't get snakes in the end of September. I mean, lunar cycle wise it makes sense. We're just heading into the last summer moon. They should be, you know, back at the dens or nearly so now. If I get one or two more calls, it shouldn't be surprising. But in solar time, it seems a little weird here toward the end of September to still be getting calls. Any case, this morning, I got another rattlesnake call already. It's not even, well, it's just past 9:30 now. And this one's coming from the University of Lethbridge campus, which we are on the outskirts on as I speak. It's coming from the 4th floor. They have a rattlesnake in a washroom. And that 4th floor down there has some peculiar circumstances. They've got big mechanical rooms that they cool in part by having an open grate ceiling about 2 floors up. Just happens to put that open grate ceiling next to the rattlesnake den of the 6th floor. And so you have snakes, you know, wander across that open grate, and if they're small enough, they might fall into the mechanical rooms. And so it's not unusual for me to pick up small snakes in the mechanical rooms proper or even the adjacent offices. Today, the snake is in a washroom, which is a first, but probably not the last. Snakes don't care which room it is. He's just trying to look for a way out of that building. So we're going to pick up this rattlesnake. I also have a porcupine on the other side, the west side, waiting in a cage for me to go get that. And with those two tasks completed, once we have those completed, probably roll over to Mahoney's house and do my weekly gardening over there. Maybe stop by Spilbeekemy, show you some of the new stuff going on in nature in terms of where we're at with the cycles right now and what's happening out there. We'll see. We could get more calls yet this morning for more wildlife issues, but right now it is a rattlesnake here at the ULETH campus to deal with.
Heron.
Hey, I probably need a face mask, eh? I can grab one.
You'll be okay. It's just the bathroom there.
Alright, cool.
Special circumstances.
Cool. Just in the men's room?
Yeah, just in the men's room there. It's just a little baby one.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Oh, yes.
We missed you.
So right behind you, actually. He's right.
Oh, is it behind the door? Oh, yeah, little guy right under the door jamb, huh?
We just want to make sure we didn't squish on him.
Yeah, he's a small one. Might be a newborn even.
Well, I've never seen him that small before. does not want to cooperate.
Oh, it's just so tiny for my tool, you know?
Yeah.
I've used my hat for similar baby snake purposes before. There we go. There we go. Just have to have the right tool, huh? There you go. This is what I'm talking about here with the grates. The snakes dropping down into the mechanical room. The den is just against this wall here. If you can see, there's rattlesnake skin right there. I'm gonna release him just over here, I think. But we'll get him back in the hat for a little photo op. Glasses. Glasses don't need to be in the rattlesnake. That's how you end up with busted eyes. There we are. There we are. What a cutie. Can I take your picture? Bite. Alright, enough photographs. It's time for you to be free. Just out this way. It's your chance to get to freedom. You need to go off that way so you don't end up down the grate again. Right down in there. Right down off the edge. See ya, little guy. Get some space prepared for porcupine. Surprised I caught him. Usually porcupines do not go easily into the cage in my experience. Nice salty apples must have been very appealing. Good morning to you. I see you are occupying my cage. I'm gonna take a drive. It's very stickery. I don't want to get caught on the leg. Luckily not a giant porcupine. because they can get pretty heavy. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's trying to be tough. Now we're going for a ride. See you later, Mr. Porcupine. Just released him at the pond here, but didn't have the camera going. It's too difficult to work with this particular cage, and he's just waddling away. I'm gonna probably go for a little walk here while we're already here. Show you the few things that I wanted to show you, and then we'll roll up to Mahoney's, do a little gardening. Just getting a bit of the view of the duck situation here at the north end of the pond, which I am paying some attention to because there's a mother duck here. I thought it might be this one, but it's not, I don't think. There is a mother duck who I've been looking at all week with two ducklings that are far from maturing yet, you know, far from being as mature as they should be for this time of the season. And so I kind of suspect that the ducklings at least are going to have to winter here as young ducks, that they're not going to make it out with their mom if she leaves them. She might stay as well, we'll see. Just checking out the colors, making note that while, you know, the leaves are turning some in the forest, and there's a little bit of color on the wet meadows, it's still rather green. You know, overall it's still rather green. We are still in the, you know, going into our last summer moon. So what I've been witnessing out here, and what we'll probably see in a few moments, or at least as we make our way around the pond quick, is mating dragonflies. A lot of the dragonflies right now, this is the end of their life cycle, you know. Well, we'll talk about that when we get there, but dragonflies are mating. There's some other things I should just wait and show you when we get to them instead of describing them beforehand. But really nice morning, calm waters, bit of haze from the smoke out west, but is what it is. So one of the things that I start looking for and watching this time of year is the beaver's food cache for winter. And I can't tell whether they are caching yet. They may be underwater. We really can't tell until some of the cached pieces start sticking up out of the water, which they do pretty quick. So I don't think they're caching yet, but what I am noticing here is that over the last week or so, a lot of new organic material is being added on the top of their scent mound. Now, the scent mound, you know, it just keeps growing. I'm curious one year whether this will become a lodge or not, as the old lodge kind of fades, you know. It's not impossible. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Just that there's a lot of organic material. Looks like mostly bulrush stems, maybe a few other things added in on top of the scent mound. Here's an angle on that scent mound from, you know, just from the south of it. You can see even such random item as a big, you know, 2x4 or something, 2x6 is tossed up there. This is all new. They're increasing the size of the scent mound, and they're adding a bunch of organic material. You know, it's not just mud that they're bringing, hey? So, could they be expanding the lodge? I don't know. I think we see some killdeer. You're not going to probably be able to see them even as strong as this iPhone is. I need to get my camera back for my wildlife stuff, you know. I should just bite the bullet and buy one. A good video camera that I can zoom in with. Yeah, that's killdeer activity over there. There's several of them on the shore. I'm waiting for yellowlegs to show up. We usually get lesser yellowlegs hanging out here at the end of the season, but I haven't seen any yellowlegs as yet. In the next lunar cycle is when I expect them anyway, so they are on time as yet. Here you can see there's still painted turtles out and around. Don't know what the problem is with this goose, but it's making quite a ruckus. Yeah, painted turtles are out, and like all of the reptiles here, their babies have been born, in this case hatched from the eggs, and there's evidence around the pond that some of those, we'll see if we can find one, but some of those baby turtle caches have been hit by predators, I think, because they're not supposed to actually dig themselves out, excavate themselves till after winter. They just stay in that underground place for the season. There's the other one of the birds I wanted to show you, although you probably can't see it well. It's a great blue heron standing on that island out there, just kind of being inconspicuous at the moment. Been watching that heron for the last couple of weeks. That heron, you know, is one of the kind of shoreline stalking type birds that we get, including the yellowlegs. But typically the water here at the Wide South Pool is even a little bit lower than it is right now, so maybe it's just not low enough yet for the yellowlegs to show up. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'll see if I can find any of those excavated turtle nests to show you. Here's a different angle on that heron. I'm standing by the peninsula here, or on the peninsula, just close enough that it might upset her. She might decide to leave. She was just pruning herself. I don't know why I think it's a her. It's just how it seems to me with herons. I always label them in the feminine, I think. I don't know if that's a linguistic thing in English anywhere, if there's any kind of metaphor between women and herons, but it seems to me there should be. I don't know why. Just come across this deceased darner. Not sure what happened to it, but the ants are starting to pay attention. Could have just got stepped on. A lot of, well, not a lot of, but people walking down this trail. Not likely to see little dragonfly like this. And they definitely come out here. I'm not sure what it is that they do, why they're out here on the trail. But like I was mentioning, you know, at least the last several days they've been out here mating. I haven't seen any yet this morning, but they're around. It might just not be the right time of day yet. Here are some of the last flowers of the season, at least the two most predominant flowering species right now, and they will be the last. The tufted white prairie aster and the showy aster. There are a few other plants still in flower, you know, like these guys here, who are kind of transitioning flower to seed, mostly seed. This is the hairy golden aster, I believe it is. Hairy because of the stems. Yeah, we'll just kind of head out along the edge of the wet meadows and probably run into some of those turtle nest diggings. Might see what it is over here as far as I'm not seeing any sandpipers, but we gotta get a bit closer. And who knows, we'll just make our way around. I believe this is a pink-edged sulfur. It's been kind of flying ahead of me on the trail here. And I saw yesterday, I think, a couple of yellow butterflies mating. It might have been pink-edged sulfurs. Pretty close. This will help me find out if I'm correct about the identification at least, but yeah, I think it's a pink-edged sulfur. Wow. Thank you. Really showing off. Ooh. Pull back, move around her. Put you in a little shadow quick. Oh, she didn't like that shadow. She's very brilliant though. When she opens up, very brilliant wings. There she is. Right there. Real pretty butterfly. All right, I am here in the shallows of the east end of the wide south pool. And we do have some sandpipers here. As you can see, there's one right in front of me. This is about the closest I can get to the bird. There's several others out along the shallows here. And you can see a killdeer running in. A couple of killdeer on the island shore itself. But yeah, I am not exactly certain what kind of sandpiper this is, what the species is. It's not the yellow legs that I'm usually looking for, but we get a lot of different sandpipers stop off here. The one that I'm most familiar with is the one that nests here, which is a spotted sandpiper. But this bird has waded in pretty deeply, and this is not a spotted sandpiper. Not sure who this is, so. At least I don't think it's spotted sandpiper. It's so hard with me one-eyed and without binoculars. Anyway, we'll continue along the wet meadow. You can see along the trail in front of me, just for this short stretch, at least 1, 2, 3 different cherry-faced darners, dragonflies, hanging out. My shadow is, of course, the thing that none of these guys really like. So, are they sunbathing? You know, is that part of the purpose of sitting along the trails like this? The exposure? Or is it to showcase themselves, or is it multi-purpose, you know? Who knows? Somebody asked me the other day, a friend from Montana, what is the word for dragonfly in Blackfoot? And the only one I ever heard was whatever that sound is. I gotta look into that sound, because that's the sound being made by these sandpipers. The only one I ever heard, the only name I ever heard for the dragonfly was Napiquan, which is the same word for white person, right? And I asked about that, of course, you know, and the only hypothesis anyone ever gave me is that it has to do with the translucency of their wings. But I've heard now another name being used in Blackfoot in Montana, Ayinaki, which means it seizes, hey, grasps, the seizer, like hawks are Ayinimax, the ones who seize. So I hadn't associated that name with dragonflies, but Ayinaki is what they're using, and that name makes a lot of sense as well. Yeah, the wet meadows is still quite lush, even though, you know, the dogbane is turning yellow, right? But a lot of it's still pretty green. Whitetail with her fawn. I'm gonna just back off. Just wanted to show her. I wasn't headed that way anyway, I'm headed this way. But I spooked them because they were bedded down at the top of this bullberry brush. Not expecting people to come walking through. Just coming back along to the north end again, and I was getting worried that I wouldn't have evidence of the turtle nest predation that I talked about, and yet here it is. So what I think has happened here is that a predator has dug out the baby turtles. This is like the egg scrap stuff. May have dug out the eggs, may have been some time ago, but I'm just noticing it, but I don't think so. It always seems this time of year that I come across this. And then soon the wasp nests too will start showing up, because there's a predator that digs those out as well, the skunk, the badger. Makes me wonder whether there are yet any baby turtles in this nest not dug up. I wonder, maybe I should excavate just a little bit with my knife here and come back and tell you. So I excavated a good hole now. Nothing more than a couple of egg shards still in there. Definitely no baby turtles. What confuses me is why didn't it look like this when I came to it? Why was it just an open hole with no excavation material if a predator had done it? Unless the predator's a bird, which is a potential, you know? I don't know who it is that gets into these, but somebody gets into them. Here is our largest local dragonfly. Paddle-tailed darner. Great big blue thing. Blue in other colors, actually. If you get up close, quite pretty. We'll see how close she lets us get. Dragonflies are another one that I always feel are feminine. Why? Oh, she's brilliant. Alright, so we've gone a full round, shown you what's new for the most part. Didn't see our mating dragonflies, but trust me, that's what's going on over here in the warmer part of the afternoon at least. Now, I guess it's time to head to Mahoney's and do a little bit of garden work before I go home. Oh, look at these ducks. I'm still wondering whether there's going to be a beaver who's nesting down here, or whether that's just muskrats that have created that such a strong avenue. So, didn't quite finish my work at Mahoney's house. Got the front yard done for the most part, but need to still complete the back. And I'm off to another snake call. This one's bringing me to the canyons where might be something of a wild goose chase. The caller seemed to be back on a trail behind the houses and observed a rattlesnake, probably 1.5 feet long, move into someone's backyard. Now, whether we'll be able to find that snake in the backyard, whether it's anywhere near still there after, you know, the 15 or 20 minutes it takes me to get there. These snakes are on the move, so for the most part, if they're not, you know, in an area where it's really endangering potentially people and pets and that kind of thing, we should just leave them alone. But in this case, in a backyard, you know, who knows what the situation might become. I have to go over there and check it out. So, but the caller is not going to, he already had lost track of the snake when he had called. So in those situations, the likelihood of me finding it becomes rather slim, but we'll check it out. Any case. Hello. Good. Maybe they kept track of the snake after all. Well, is the snake still around?
Yeah, it's curled up right beside the deck.
Okay.
Was really wanting to see your cat.
Don't know if anybody's home yet, eh?
No one is.
Nobody, eh? Okay. I'm sure they won't mind.
Right along the orange
platform there. She's curled up on the far side. Or he, I don't know where he is. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, there's a little danger of her going under the deck, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see any hole. Okay. Come here. There we go. Hey. There's the snaky.
Pretty neat, eh?
Cool.
Yeah, pretty young one. Probably 2-3 years old.
Yeah, Mom, that was a cool rattle. I got to see that close.
All right, here we have very pretty little male snake, wanting badly to bite me. Actually, he's tried taking a couple of shots at me as I was photographing him. Let's go over this way. Let's go over this way. Just let you off in the grass. Hold on. Can be on your way back to the migration. Ornery and upset. That's okay. I get it. None of us like to have our lives interfered with. Some of us take it a little more graciously than others, though.